I am going to show you the very best prostration mat ever. For 20 years, I have never found something as efficient as this. And the first thing that I have is a yoga mat, just a standard yoga mat. In fact, if you're on a carpeted floor, you may not even need that, but on a hard floor like this, it's really helpful to have a yoga mat. And then on top of the yoga mat, I put a yoga blanket. I just looked for it online. They have 100% cotton yoga blankets. This one was made in Mexico. And I don't know, they run around $20 or something. This is a cheap setup. So then we have a yoga blanket, which I cut in half so that I just have one thin strip and it sticks right onto the mat and the floor. Then the next supply that I got is furniture sliders. These ones are called super sliders, but the brand is irrelevant. And they're for moving furniture. You want to get the oblong ones, not the round ones. And they usually come in a set of 4. You can get them at Amazon, you can get them at different home improvement stores and furniture stores and so forth for very little money. The last thing is that I like to have a little extra padding under my knees. So for example, I have a thin memory foam piece that I had from some construction. But you could put a towel, or maybe you don't need one if you have a really soft carpet you're on, or perhaps a small pillow or any other kind of support that you find that works for you. So that's the setup for the prostration. And then in terms of prostrations, I'm not going to get into the meaning because I'm assuming anyone that's doing them has had teachings and knows why they're doing them and what they're doing. But what I wanted to talk about here is the technical aspects of doing a prostration where you don't injure yourself. Personally, I had a back injury from a car accident, and I've also had knee surgery and injuries, and so I'm really careful about my form. And what I find is that a lot of people do prostrations incorrectly. So first of all, you have your folded hands, and you're going to be bringing you kind of want to be standing in a mountain pose. So you've got strong, kind of firm legs, everything's supported, and then you're holding in your core. You have an awareness. I usually like to start the prostrations slowly to make sure I have the correct posture, because you can injure yourself just like any physical activity if you're not paying attention. And so you bring your hands to the crown of your head and throat and your heart, and then you go down, and as you're going down, then you start to slide, and you don't put your knees down until about right there. You don't want to wait later because then you might injure your back. But you also don't want to put your knees down before your hands because then you could injure your knees. And then you slide in, you're really holding in your core. You're fine maybe after the first few days are really sore. You bring your hands up like this to the crown of your head, and then you're back on the sliders. And it's kind of like a push-up. Notice how my back and my butt come up equally. And when I get here, I push off, and then I come up like this. So that's a correct prostration. In terms of counting, you could have a small, I don't have any, I do have you could use what I call a prostration mala. It's the wrist malas, like this. Or sometimes people have clickers and they click when they get to the end. I found that distraction. But what I actually found is that I do 100 prostrations in about 25 minutes. So I don't use a counter anymore. I just approximate how many prostrations I do. And then, of course, your count of whatever mantra or practice you're doing is kept separately. So you have a count for your prostrations and then a count for the mantras. So again, I just want to emphasize the posture. And I'm going to do one kind of quicker so you can just see the movement of it. I like to tuck my feet down so that when I get to the bottom, so that the tops of my feet are on the floor, and that somehow brings less strain on the ankles. Like that. So I have a strong core. I don't go, it's like a squat, and then about right there, your knees are down, and then you come down and you're holding in your core the whole time. You'll get a really good workout. And then it's like a push up, push off, and then come up. And then of course you're doing whatever mantras or practice you're doing while you're doing that. And usually I start out slow, so then somebody recently told me if you did, I don't know, maybe like 50 squats a day, and then you did 50 push-ups, and then you held yourself in platform, that your whole body would stay strong for your whole life. And if you look at my form, I'm doing all of those things, and I do maybe prostrations for 30 minutes to 40 minutes straight. So when I'm coming down, it's like a squat, and then you've got your hand, here is your core on your stomach because you're holding in to protect your back. When you're coming up, it's like a push-up. So you have all three things, and the repetitive movement, it's very good for your body, keeping it strong. And that is a prostration. Okay, that's it. Stop it.